Not being content is the bulk of his content. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice. We're going to mandate you. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. Thanks for watching all my fire coverage vlog content. People been eating that stuff up, getting a lot of good feedback on it. You can go to the YouTube channel or wherever. But if you want to get caught up on what's going on in Malibu and Palisades, you can check that out. Nick Thune in the studio. Nick's got dates. He's got a stand-up special. Stand-up special's on YouTube called Born Young. Shot out of Zany's, Nashville. You can go to his website, nickthune.com, for all the live shows and info as well. Good to see you, Nick.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
So this is funny because at the very top of my list, I had Shohei Ohtani bobblehead night written on the top of the list of stuff I'm going to talk about, and you just, apropos of nothing, just shot out that you were at the Dodger game.
I got the bobblehead.
Nice. You got the bobblehead?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was... They tweeted out. Did you hear what they tweeted yesterday, the Dodgers?
No.
So normally they give it to the first 40,000 people, and there was people lined up like way early.
That's what I'm getting into.
But then they tweeted, all fans at tonight's game get a bobblehead.
Yeah, there should be 40,000 lawsuits against the Dodger organization because listen to this story. This is a weekday of what people had to do to get that bobblehead. We will.
Oh, this is what you actually. Oh, wow.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Excitement over Shohei Ohtani has been going all day long. Thousands of Dodger fans spent the day lined up outside Dodger Stadium for tonight's Ohtani bobblehead giveaway. A lot of those fans got up early to get in line, some as early as 5:30 this morning.
And after all that...
It was a night game, right?
How many did we lose?
It was 2 Giants fans were killed. They're waiting to get Barry Bonds bobbleheads, and they got beaten to death. What time did the game?
5:30.
5:30. So there's people standing there for 12 hours.
I got there at 5.
You got there at 5 and got a bobblehead.
Yeah. I ride my bike, and my son and we ride our bike in because it's just like the easiest way to get in there. But when I saw the tweet in on Instagram, they said,
so you
all
live
fans.
Close enough to Chavez Ravine.
Yeah.
Electric bike?
Yeah.
Because it's a little hilly.
It is a little hilly getting up there. And even if it wasn't, I'd probably still go electric.
Let me tell you something, man. You get an electric bike, it's basically like the criminal version of when they came out with the battery-operated Sawzall. Like, you can go anywhere. There's no fucking... No, you're not staying... Nothing's locked for good.
Lanes are open.
Yeah.
It's a Wild West out there.
You got an electric bike, you can scoot.
Yeah. When I pull up on it at the stadium, they're looking at me like, we don't know if this is okay or not, but...
Right.
Come on in.
Right. Yeah, and you just go past throngs of cars.
No waiting.
Right.
It's unreal, and it's also so deadly.
Yeah.
And I'm riding it with my son on it.
Yeah, but head on the swivel.
Now, your son's on the bike.
Yeah, with me.
Yeah, I just when you said me and my son ride up, I thought.
We've only got one helmet, so I wear the helmet.
I thought maybe he had his own bike, is what I'm saying.
No, he's 11. I would not. I don't think he's ready to ride up Sunset Boulevard on a...
Oh, he's on your bike.
Yeah.
Because it gets a little homoerotic at some point, depending on where he's sitting.
Yeah, if he's over 13 , probably.
Yeah. That's the bar mitzvah.
We just had the talk last week, so I don't know.
So as long as he doesn't press it on your back.
So is the bike a kind of a bike that is there to accommodate a passenger?
No.
Yeah.
No, he's sitting in front of me.
Okay.
He's got his feet up, wrapped around. There's I put a cage on top of the tire, so he has his feet up there. It's not legal. There's nothing safe about it.
And a seat. Banana seat, as we used to say?
It is. It's a full. It looks like one of those old Italian racer bikes, that's got like that long kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, you're thinking of maybe like an old moped-y style or something that had the long. The Italian racer bikes have little small.
Oh, those are the small
seats.
ones. I'm thinking of like this flat kind of.
So there's room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he sits up there, and he's like you're an organ grinder, and he's your monkey.
Yeah.
And he's just up front. He's got the feet perched up.
Sometimes his knees get in the way,
and you're just hauling ass through traffic. That's good.
And also my legs, it's kind of a BMX style bike.
Uh-huh.
And my legs are like out probably at like 45 degree
Now, what happens if you have a couple of beers at the game? Do you throw them
Well,
the keys
that would be
to
a
the electric
relapse, and
bike?
that would be a problem.
Oh, that's a relapse. All right, so you're good. You're designated.
No, that would be a big problem.
You're designated rider.
People would be called, yeah.
Okay.
4-alarm fire.
So you go to shows. All right. So I am interested. I'm caught up in this Doge movement now, and I want to save American taxpayers money. And I'm now thinking, like, what could I do? Because I got ideas. Because I'm like a problem solver. So I've come up with a couple of money savers for the taxpayers. So one was that I was going to collect all the legal criminals by just putting a sign in front of the Coliseum that said free cockfights for Raiders fans only, and then whoever showed up, we just arrest them and deport them, obviously. Or they're deadbeat dads, but okay. Then I had this thought, which is anyone who shows up at a Tesla like an anti-Elon rally on a weekday in the middle of the day, the he, she with the heels and the tiara who stand there holding a sign over their head for 7 hours, half those people are claiming they're on disability. Yeah. Because they're obviously not gainfully employed, or they couldn't go to the Tesla rally, right? And they don't look independently wealthy. No one looks like they had a startup company. They sold it. Upjohn bought it for billions of dollars. They all look like they're on the dole, man. Those people are sucking off the government hit. Yeah. And my thing is like, hey, if you're strong enough to hold up a mini sledgehammer on a sidewalk and smash up a model Tesla, you're good enough to get back to work.
Are they smashing them up?
I saw them smashing they took model Teslas. Oh. And they took the model of a Tesla, not a Tesla model, but a miniature model of a Tesla. And they had what we call in the construction world a single jerk, which is basically
That's what I call something else as well. That's what I call being 13.
You do that on an airplane now. Single jerk, which is a mini sledge. And they're just... If you find the person, you can find footage of it. They're on the sidewalk and they're just bashing up these. Anyway, the point is if you can do this, you can take your job back that you claim you're not well enough to do because you have back pain.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So
that's the insurance adjusters are out there taking photos. Like what?
Those people. So we get the illegals with the cockfight. Then we go to the Elon rally, and we get the rest that are on disability, bilking the system. And the last is the Shohei bobblehead night, folks, because those people are in line at 8 a.m. on a weekday. Sorry, brother, you need to be at work. I don't know what the fuck is going. I don't know how your schedule got so clear that you could just spend an entire day for $2 worth of bobblehead. No, I don't like where you're at. I bet your kid needs some orthodontia work. I bet there's some delinquent payments. I bet you owe the IRS money. I bet you're on disability. You could be on unemployment. You should be looking for a job. I want to round up those people. I want to know what's going on.
Meanwhile, Hollywood just walk up 30 minutes and still get a bobblehead.
Some people read Twitter.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
But however, I will say this: I saw when I was pulling in, I saw people with like bags of them. I mean,
wow.
Leaving before the game because you don't get them until you walk in. So people are just showing up at the game and then leaving.
They're selling them on Etsy.
Thinking that they got their money ticket.
Yeah, everybody turns them over. Hello Kitty night was the same way.
Hello Kitty night. So I have season tickets. And
you do?
We sell tickets on the nights that are like Hello Kitty night because those go for way up.
Yeah.
And I don't need it, And
I at some point, like I feel like people need to be told, you have this conversation with your son, I'll have it with my son. Those guys busting up Tesla vids. Yes? No? Definitely out there. Seen it 1,000 times. You can find those. I don't know if you're looking for it or not, but we can look. So, people have ideas. They're going to wait in line, start at 5:30 in the morning. They're going to drag a couple duffel bags to Dodger Stadium. They're going to load up on bobblehead dolls. They're going to drag the duffel bags filled with Shohei bobblehead dolls back to the apartment, and then they're going to sell them individually on eBay for $11 each for a grand total of $121. And I want to say to my son, or you could get a fucking job. Or you could just work. You could just go somewhere and work and sit in air conditioning and have a dental plan and get paid more.
It's a great path.
There's some people that are just like, I will not work, but I will do something that is much more work for less money.
Also, the people that do that and figure it out, that's a whole different type of, like, not everybody's actually making. There are some people that can make full livings off of, we don't know what they're doing.
But Dad, my passion is bobbleheads.
Like, I used to steal chromies off cars.
Chromies?
Yeah, remember off the tires of cars?
Are you talking about the valve stem?
Yeah, that were chrome, because we were told that you could take them into a pawn shop for $4 a pop.
Really?
And that's how I was going to make my living at some point when I was young. And then my parents caught me, and I never got a chance to take them in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How many chromies did you steal?
Probably 50-ish.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, whenever my parents were like, we're going grocery shopping, I was like, can I come? Because I know there's a parking lot there.
How many, by the way, something's up with my little screen here, guys. I can't read what you got on there. But, or if you move it down a little bit or something. Something's weird on the screen. Anyway. Did you find the clip of, it's weird. I saw it all over the news. They were like smashing, well, it was from Saturday, I guess, but there were, oh, you do have the clip. Okay. Now you have it. You don't.
That's just the picture. I'm still looking for the clip.
Oh, it's weird. It was all over the news. Well, anyway, that's a single jerk. If you can swing that, you can work.
Look at these bracelets on this guy, too. I mean,
lots of bracelets.
Lots of bracelets,
That is bracelet heavy.
All right. So if I walk through that bobblehead wait in line as a Doge guy at just say 10 a.m., I think I'd find a high likelihood. I bet every third person was getting some sort of government assistance. That's all I'm saying. And my thing is it's the middle of the week. It's the middle of the day. You're able-bodied because you can stand in the sun for 14 hours. Now let's get the fuck to work.
The only thing that makes it okay is if it's they had like the gold, like last year they did that. Did you see that? They had the golden Shohei thing. And it was like the first 1,000 people get a golden Shohei statue.
The first 1,000?
Yeah. And then everyone else got just a regular bobblehead. But I could see that. I could see, this one thing that's like exclusive, but not.
You have season tickets to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I love it. That's why, I mean, the bike, it's the easiest. I can get from my house to my seat in about 12 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
And what do you do? Just park it at the bike rack?
Yeah, there's a bike rack right by my entrance, right by my seats.
Do you love baseball that much?
I really do. I love it, and I love taking people to it.
Yeah. I think it's kind of a fun experience.
Loving sitting with somebody, explaining things. It's fun.
Is it 162 games?
Yeah.
The thing I was watching SportsCenter the other day. I don't really care about baseball, but I appreciate it. But I was good as a player, but I liked playing football. I didn't like baseball. Wasn't as fun to me. You didn't get to put pads on and hit people. You know what I mean?
I was so scared of football. I still played it. It was
Well, once you get used to putting a helmet and shoulder pads on and slamming into people, it's hard to get away from it. Once you get that feeling, it feels good, like hitting people. Shoulder pads are like the greatest invention ever. I mean,
I think I was the guy getting hit. Was the problem?
Well, you do get lit up, every once in a while, but it was always so fun. Like my greatest love was after the other team would punt.
Oh boy!
I would circle around after I rushed a punt. I would circle around, and the punter was always just half jogging behind the play because the play was 45 yards down, and the guy's boxed in it, and he's like a half guy. I would always circle around and light him up just because I could, just because he was on the field. And why not? I tried to block the punt, so I wasn't
like a threat.
I wasn't in on it. And my greatest line, I haven't ever told this story, but I'd circle around and just light that poor punter up. It was always the smallest guy on the other team, and he didn't have sufficient padding either.
No knee pads.
And I circle around and I lit the guy up, and the ref it's not illegal. It's just immoral. You know what I mean? And the ref,
that line is so
130-pound soccer player.
Yeah, the ref looked at me at a home game once. I've never told this story, and he just goes, 53, what are you doing? And I just said, playing ball. And I ran back. That was the greatest moment of my life.
what?
Because I'm fucking playing ball. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, why isn't that not illegal though? Because if you hit their leg when you're trying to.
No, I would try to block the punt, and then I would circle around, and while he was jogging after the play.
Because at that point,
Yeah, I just light him up. He wasn't expecting anything. He's not really in the play. He's 40 yards away from the play. But he's still wearing a uniform, and he still could make a tackle.
He's thinking, thank God I don't have to tackle people.
Right.
He's
that's
got
what
the
he's thinking.
headgear with one bar.
Got one bar.
Double leg him into infinity.
He's got a leather helmet.
Yeah.
And I pass him and then circle around. So he can't really even see where I am because he's just jogging down an open
you're in the
field.
blind spot.
That's why you play football.
But why did they ever make the kickers just wear the single? Do you think they ever said, like, hey, can we just have one like the other players?
For
like,
showsies.
No, it's all vision.
Yeah, you got to see everything.
They got to look down at place kickers, punters, and stuff. It's all vision. And then when you're interior lineman, you just have the cage because it's not, you don't need to see as much as.
And it's scary.
Yeah, it looks scarier. Yeah. So we have the smashing of the. Yeah. Now, again. These people who are doing dancing and smashing, I want to know. I want to know if they're on the dole.
Yeah, let's take a gander at these people.
Listen, I know nuts when I see it, and all nuts claim disability because when you're nuts, your back always hurts because your back comes from your head. So nutty people have tons of back pain because it's their fucking 10-cent head that's fucking their back up. Once you get your head straight, your back stops hurting. Sorry, we'll watch it.
I've heard
They
this.
are haters. They use violence. They don't know how to use the courts in a way to protect their own rights. And it is disgusting. And the Molotov cocktails and everything they're doing is a violation of law in our institutions. And I hope that Ms. Jasmine Crockett,
Got a
I hope
single-
that she was
all right.
happy.
I mean, I love that she's saying
Because it didn't
Molotov
seem to
cocktails
come
as they're
much at all.
just hammering little matchbox
Hot
cars.
Wheels. Yeah.
Also, as a young lad, I did collect Hot Wheels.
Yeah,
I
me
would be
too.
quite appalled.
Me too.
And
I was
like, hey,
hurting.
what is the desecration of the Hot?
Yeah.
This could add to my collection quite
There's
nicely.
kids that could use those.
You could have steal the valve stem nuts off of those things,
Those
man.
things actually charge up too. Didn't Tesla give you a key that's like it looks like a Tesla?
I think there's that. I've never had a
wonder if
Tesla.
those
I
are
have
those.
an electric car, but I don't have a
I never got
Tesla
that.
electric car.
Yeah, you just use your phone or you just have you have a key card that you put on the dash.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
I
there
never
it
saw
is.
that one. I didn't get the deluxe
And
package.
the problem is we're living in a world simultaneously of fobs and keys and automation and non-automation. Like you go to the bathroom at the airport, right? You put your hand under the sink and the water starts shooting out, right?
If you're lucky.
It shoots out. I don't know why they think 1.5 seconds is the maximum time you're going to need to sterilize
And
yourself.
immediately,
Yeah.
it's like that.
or like you're a vampire and it doesn't work at all.
Well, here's that. The funny one is when you realize you got a bad sink, so you start waving in the sink next to yours.
Yeah.
Like co-opting that dude's sink.
It's like, sorry, man, just
Can I say this? During COVID, the main, where they cracked down the hardest, like the Fort Knox of COVID rules being applied. Like there were, you could go to a park and not have a mask and maybe no one gave a shit or go do something. But the airport was ground zero for COVID rules, right? It was like, where's your mask? Where's your distance, mask distance, everything. Well, during COVID, when they thought that it was spread via touch or boxes or, stuff that showed up at your house, they started giving all these tutorials on hand washing. And the hand washing tutorials were like, it is not 10 seconds like you think it is. Proper hand washing. You have to sing Inagata Davida in your head. like it is long. You have to really stand there for much longer.
Until you get wrinkles.
Well, but what about the fucking airport? Then they give you a spritz of water for 2 seconds? Like, what kind of weird message? It's like, I would have to be at the sink for 11 hours if you wanted me to properly wash my hands at this airport. What is the spritz that's 3 seconds? It's never enough.
He's definitely not scrubbing it.
But why not 5 seconds?
What about when you
seconds?
get the soap and the soap works, and then you get down to the sink and there's no, and now you're just holding soap in your hand.
The funny one,
it jizzes out and then you have to run around.
Here's what I'm getting at. Yes, that is correct. But in the world of the key versus the automation, we're in an in-between world. Like I sat. Dumbo Mike August told me to move his car when it was over at Leno's shop. I had to go move his car. He has an electric Volvo. I sat in his Volvo for 20 minutes looking for the start button. Eventually, I ran out of, I don't know where the fucking start. I got out of the car, I was crawling around under the steering wheel and stuff. And at some point, I got to Mike and I go, where is the start button? And he goes, oh no, when you have the fob, it just starts, it'll start. You just put it in drive. I'm like, okay. Well, first off, you could say that.
Yeah,
you could say it. You could say it when you're handing me the keys. You could say it. But also, in my car, it's not that way. You have to find okay. You go into the airport bathroom. You do the hand sink thing. You do the soap, automatic, whatever. Then you go to the paper towel thing, and you're standing there waving your hand under it, and then at some point, some guy walks by and goes, there's a hand, you got to pull the handle down. Oh. And you're like, okay, you can't go automation, and then manual. We got to go all magic eye or all fucking manual.
I want to go back to the cloth ones that just go the
circular one. Yeah, I like that. It was always a little dubious to me. Like, what?
Where's this going?
Where's this going?
Is it coming back around?
How much do they have back there? Yeah.
I always imagine like another bathroom at a truck stop far away, and you pull it, and his goes up. Like he's like, whoa!
It's like one of those things at a park where you talk in one end and you hear it out the other side.
Yeah.
Or the ones that were like sandpaper. Do you remember that from like junior high or whatever?
Yeah.
And like in the locker room, it was just like brown paper bag material.
Yeah.
Yeah, those will dry your hand up. These are very absorbent.
The other weird, I would like to look into some of these like inventions from the 50s and the 60s. Yes, the hand drying station with the circular cloth belt that didn't seem to ever get cleaned or go away.
And then a red line will hit like a receipt, when the receipt's running out.
I don't know if you guys remember, but like high school gymnasiums from the like 40s had a drinking fountain cove in them with a weird head shower sprayer thing that was in there as well. Like it wasn't just the water in the water fountain. It was like some weird thing where you'd put your head. You got to find me one of those.
Cool you down?
I guess station. It's like high school, old time high school gymnasium drinking fountain head thing or something, but it was weird. I would never, I don't know what you did with it. Like it was unclear. You're not there are showers.
Yeah.
But it was like cool your head down.
And
thing.
when did the school district think this is what we want everywhere?
About 72.
I went to North Hollywood High. It was like built in the 30s, but the gym may have been built later. But it was always academic because some douche would always shove gum into the drinking fountain and it would just shoot out in weird spray-like form. It's like, you have to fucking... How antisocial.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I like a good joke as much as the next guy, but how fucking antisocial do you have to be to... these right up there with the guys at the truck stop who piss all over the toilet paper roll.
Oh,
people do that?
People do that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they're people. I call them animals. But
you've
never seen that? You've never seen the piss on the roll?
No, but a guy at my junior high used to wipe his ass and roll it back up.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he would call, and like if anybody went to the bathroom after him, he'd start calling him shit fingers, and everybody would be like, "Wait, what?"
Oh my god!
I have no idea what these things are called. They were old gymnasium, drinking fountain, head shower coves. They were like coves, like they were built in. Like you'd put your head in the wall. They weren't surface mounted on the side of the gym. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah,
they
like you're
had.
doing a blessed ritual. So
Yeah.
strange.
It was-
I know what you're talking about. I've seen it in like old gymnasiums. You're right, but I don't know what the hell that's called, or even that was a thing.
All right, so we got
One thing you said there though is in COVID, the lowest moment for me, I was on the beach in Carpinteria, and I was sitting there, and nobody was around me, my son and a couple other people, and a guy came up and said, "Sir, you have to be moving if you're on the beach."
moving.
Yeah,
I know.
You couldn't be sitting on the beach.
Yeah, on the beach, getting vitamin D.
Unreal.
The worst thing the cop said to me on the beach was, "Get on the ground."
Yeah, he needed you on
Venice
the
is
ground. He needed
different,
Nick
yeah.
to get up. There is a great. I will put that to the booth. We had a vid from CNN during COVID.
Not this.
You know what the weirdest thing about life is? Whatever I describe, I just get something. I go, okay, I have a brain tumor the size of a watermelon. If he just showed me a picture of a shower from a bathroom. But here's my whole thing: don't even bother. Don't even bother. You do not show me a shower. That's not what I'm talking about. It'll never be what I'm talking about. But here's what it is: it seems like something, but it's worse than nothing. Because now we just spent time. That's what I'm saying. We just showed a. Well, what did you say? We just saw a shower from a locker room.
Which actually reminded me of all of my friends' penises from,
So it did good.
from junior
Good
high.
job,
Yeah.
Booth.
All right, I'm trying to think. All right, old gymnasium drinking fountain. Just show me a picture of an old gymnasium. What are you typing in? That'll help me, Byron. See if we can find.
Oh, here we go.
So the internet is miraculous and wildly disappointing all at the same time. All right, so you typed in old gymnasium drinking fountain. And what did I describe to you?
It's like that.
What did I describe?
And that Etsy right
Why
there.
did it say shower?
Yeah, head shower. It's not really a head shower.
No.
It's sort of a head shower.
You put the
I'm
word
just-
shower in there, it's going to throw the whole search off.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
All right, so how did I describe this? Here's my...
What's that? There's two of them. What's that?
Yeah,
There's
that's the one right there.
Wait a minute. Here's the point I'm trying to figure out. Byron, how did I describe this is the question. I'm looking at it, but I want to know why you don't know what I'm looking for is what I'm saying. How did I describe this?
An old drinking fountain, and then you later said head shower.
Yeah.
No, I didn't later say it. I said it's an old drinking fountain with a head shower built into it.
Right. And
Well, everything is later if you think about conversations. Like if I go, hi, Nick, you'd go, you didn't say Nick till later.
Yeah.
But it is later, but yeah.
Yeah.
So what were you looking for? Sorry, Byron, go ahead. I just want to make sure we got what we got.
now I'm not sure.
I can see.
You don't know what it is. All right, well, describe.
I can see a tear
describe
in
what
there.
I was looking for. You can find it.
Like a water fountain that also had a place where you can wash your head or
Yeah,
your face with.
built into a wall.
I will
of a-
say
of
this.
a
I don't think he
gymnasium.
ever said
Do you-
wash your head. I think he said there's a thing that sprayed water at the top.
Like a head. Yeah.
Do you see anything that might resemble that?
You guys are seeing that thing in the middle, but I swear I don't know what that little.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, we don't know.
All right,
we
listen.
don't know.
Just go to the first one. Go to the first one.
Yeah, that
click
looks
it.
like it.
Okay, what is that? What does that
It's like a.
look like?
Oh.
So it is.
That's a pisser, isn't it?
I don't know what that is. Or go to the second one. Anyway, it's a cove. It's built in. It has a drinking fountain, and you put your head in it, and you drink, and you like douse your head.
Mind blown.
Yeah, go to the. Sorry, go back to the top there for a second. Sorry, go to the number 3. There.
Yeah. Maybe this is our best bet.
I think number 3 on the left. Yeah, it's basically that.
Like that, right?
Yeah, you get a drink and you get your head squirted.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't
64.
do that. They don't
64.
do that anymore.
They're trying to cool people down a little bit, I guess. or?
They had a lot of thoughts about your skull. You know, there was like lots of reading your skull. You know, they call them like craniologists or something. Like gypsy women would like, oh, okay, you're going to run into a lot of money soon. You know what I mean? And like it was a weird
Phrenology.
obsession.
Yeah.
with the skull.
And so that was
Just take an ice bath
gypsy
for your
prep, I
head.
guess. Or?
They figured they'd cool you down by spraying your head. which makes sense.
I think it's a good idea. Bring it back.
A good idea.
Yeah, make water
All
fountains
right,
great
so
again.
you were asked, let's see, there was a CNN clip that we have in our bank from COVID days where I was making fun of them because they were pitching a fit because they opened the beaches in Florida and people weren't distancing. They weren't safely distancing, and they were just showing B-roll of people walking around on the beach like couples and stuff, and CNN was having a meltdown because they're like, look at those people laying down next to each other on a towel. It's like, well, those people live with each other. Like, how weird would it be if there's just someone laying on the beach and I just spread my towel out right next to their towel and just plop down? Those people are getting in the same car and driving home, so I think it's okay for them to lay next to each other on the beach.
It was this dumb thing where they had to lay out the rules so that we could eventually all just stop following them. And
Right.
They never said like, hey, we're done with these.
Yeah, you're right.
It was just
We have Anderson Cooper from 2020 talking about, Jacksonville. Because they hated Florida because Florida was like, fuck that. We're opening the beach. But Anderson Cooper. Here's why we never need to listen to anything you ever say again. Here we go.
Randy K is in Jacksonville, Florida, where beaches reopened. And, well, Randy, what happened next?
People.
Well, Anderson, it was a mad dash here for the ocean. Once police gave the all clear, all the people who had been lined up in the streets waiting to get to the beach when they opened today at 5 p.m., they just flooded the area. They were biking, they were running, they were swimming,
exercise.
surfing.
Oh, no.
They were fishing, some of them.
What?
A lot of people brought their dogs.
What?
It
The
was as
dog?
if they had been cooped
Not a
up
dog
for
beach.
so long, for years. That's how they were behaving when really it had only been about a month.
They only had
because
that
they
one
first closed
footage?
this beach
That was it?
on March 20th. But this is what the mayor of Jacksonville is saying. He says, Lenny Curry is his name, he says that these are essential activities, that all of those activities, those recreational activities on the beach are considered essential, and they are well in line with the Florida governor's executive order. So he says it's okay. He is limiting the hours on the beach, Anderson, from 5 to 8 p.m., so it just closed a short time ago here, and also from 6 to 11 in the morning. So the hours in between there, the beach will be shut down. So we talked to some people. We asked them what it was like to be back on the beach today.
This is news, everybody.
We also asked them if they saw any social distancing. Because from what we could see, there wasn't a whole lot of...
All right, pause it. First, these people are so fucking stupid. It's like mostly peaceful protest with a warehouse burning behind you. They show a guy walking alone with his dog on the beach, and they're right in the middle of her social distancing speech. They have a B-roll of a guy alone walking on the beach with his dog.
And his dog is even social distancing.
The dog
a little
is
bit.
6 foot 4 inches away on his leash.
That girl too is like her parents. She might not be in a bubble with her parents.
There's a couple people in the frame that are all more than socially distanced. Run it, but go back 10 seconds just for fun. Anyway, next time CNN tells you something, think about this clip, everybody. This is a hard-hitting report they were doing in 2020. Okay.
We talked to some people. We asked them what it was like to be back on the beach today. We also asked them if they saw any social distancing, because from what we could see, there wasn't a whole lot of that going on. The mayor did ask that people still do their social distancing here on the beach, try and keep 6 feet away from each other at least, but certainly we weren't seeing a whole lot of that. We saw people with coolers set up on their beach towels, sunbathing. So it didn't feel like there was really any hint that we were in the middle of a pandemic on this Jacksonville beach today.
Why aren't you people scared? We were telling you to be scared, but you won't do it. You want to go outside.
The part where
swim.
she said that they were running down like they hadn't been down here for years, but really it's just been a month.
Yeah, just locked in your fucking shitty apartment for a month. Yeah. All right, sorry. There's more because I think they get back to. Oh, it just ended there. Oh, okay. Because Anderson, I saw it before. He was disgusted at these people and what they were doing. Like,
yeah.
It's always so fucking. It's so okay. These are modern times, people. These are modern times. These are people who have information. It's all. Anyway, just it should be played all the time. They should be humiliated all the time. That's right. Thank you, Anderson Cooper. What else? What else is next? What else can we talk about? Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. What else do you know about? What else do you know?
You're not allowed to drive because they want to keep the roads open for. Did you ever see that? Like I went and I rode up to Angeles Crest when it was snowing. Like it was like the first month. Mm-hmm. Never left my car. Drove my son from my house there. Took a photo, posted it on Instagram, rode back, And then people were like, "You're supposed to stay off the roads." And it's like I didn't even go to a gas station. At the time I was actually scared of gas stations. You know, I was scared to catch something or my son.
Well, there's many reasons to be scared of gas stations in L.A. But it's mainly the guy running it. What is?
Yeah.
Pump 7? No. Can I get a Snickers bar? No Snickers.
It's not taking my card again, sir.
Yeah.
Try.
Can I use the bathroom? No. What the bathroom? No, not for you. No. What is? No. That's the scariest part about all.
Sir, it says C cashier.
No. Yes. Yes, I beat you with squeegee. Leave. I beat you. No. You want Snickers bar?
Sir, please.
What bump yard? What is?
7?
No. Leave. We reject your card. Yeah, yeah.
Please see cashier.
Oh, that's the worst.
Every time that pops up on the screen, it's like, I'm just going to go to a new gas station.
Please see cashier is right up there with when you're going through TSA and they pull your backpack out and they go, whose backpack is this? It's like, That's what please see cashier in LA, man. It's just like,
you're right.
This is never going to work.
There's a gas station where it does it every time. And I said to the guy, I go, why does it do it? And he goes, oh, you can't use cards out there.
Yeah.
Is to get you in there, buy a Snickers.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you where you want to live. You want to live in a place where you could pump your gas. They trust you to pump your gas and then go in and pay. And you want to live in a place that has a Starbucks where you go in and you go, I got to use the bathroom. What's the code? And they go, we don't have a code. It's right there. Like that's...
Yeah,
you can talk about school systems and all sorts of shit, hospitals nearby, whatever you want, demographic, the average person in this neighborhood makes 186. Does the Starbucks have a code on the bathroom? If there's no code on the bathroom, you want to live there. Trust me, the school system's good too.
What about Oregon? If you go, I pumped gas in Oregon when I was 15 for a whole summer. Just
as a job.
Yeah, that nobody else, because the people can't pump their own gas.
Right. Yeah,
that's great.
A weird. I like it. It feels very bygone era to me, but I like it.
Yeah.
I think there's certain things that they stick with because it just makes them weird or different or whatever, and it's part of their like heritage or something. Like Porsches have the key, whatever, on the left side of the steering wheel. Everyone else has it on the right side. If you picture every car I've ever had, it's always on the right. Porsche's on the left. And it's like that was from way back in the Le Mans days when they do like the running starts and they have to jump in the car. And it was like a little bit faster to have it on the door side. If you're running and jumping in your car and starting a race, maybe you shave a tenth of a second or something. But they don't need to do that in their SUVs, But they do because it's Porsche, and that's their thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like certain places, restaurants, states, Oregon, they go, this is kind of us. We kind of like it.
I wonder why they keep it, but it's just another job, I guess.
Yeah, it's weirdly in Oregon or in Portland, they have all those bubbler drinking fountains.
What?
They have bubbler drinking fountains, which is, Byron's looking up a picture of a gym shower right now. They're the drinking fountains that just sit in Portland and they just bubble water the entire time.
It kind of comes up, yeah.
Yeah, it comes up like a little, like 8-inch fountain, 6-inch fountain. It just bubbles the whole time. And you come home from the club at 4 in the morning, you walk past it and it's just bubbling there. Because
is it a fountain?
It doesn't go around. It's drinking water that's being wasted.
What?
Guys don't know about this?
No. Why would they?
You pumped Thune in Oregon? I think Tina Turner said that. Yeah. They're called.
She also said, Ike, stop.
Ike, stop.
No.
Pumped a lot of Thune down in New Orleans, but I never. So, bubblers Am I the only one in the building that's hip to the bubbler?
Well, I know I'll stick my gum right there.
The bubble, you can't stick your gum in a bubbler because it's always on.
Yeah.
You gotta stick it in the gym one like at night and let it dry overnight. Fuck everybody up.
I mean, what's that doing though?
It's wasting fucking clean water. The bubblers in Oregon, in Portland. Okay, first off, I'd like to go to the Sudan and go, how's it going over here? It's like, we have seen so much famine. Oh, interesting. Let me tell you what we got going over here.
You ever seen a mirage?
we got drink fountains that go 24/7 for no fucking good reason. That's how much water we have. Some woman, I think here's the story. Some rich woman, which really means rich dude died, because this is a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Rich dude died, left the widow tons of money, and the widow was like, my legacy are these bubblers.
What?
I'm paying for these bubblers before I die, and I want them on. And I'm paying. And I think that's the story.
In the water, too? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a city thing, the water. So it seems like, how can you do it in perpetuity, just have a bubbler?
Well, she originally wanted Yoo-Hoo to come out of it.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Has it always been like that, or is that...
We're going to find the story. But, I mean, this shit goes back.
Yeah.
And they're always, they're kind of tip of the spear in terms of global warming and resources and all that stuff. Yeah. They got drinking fountains that run 24/7. In Portland. The Benson Bubblers in Portland, Oregon were funded by a $10,000 donation from a businessman and his philanthropic Simon Benson in 1912 for the purchase and installation of 20 bronze drinking fountains. So some guy bought them and did them at the, sum of $10,000 in 1912. That wasn't chump change, Now, I don't know why he did it to help. He did the fountains to encourage temperance. He wanted people not to drink. He wanted to keep loggers out of the saloons. But that's just a good place to throw up after you drink too much in a saloon.
He thinks that putting that out there is keeping people sober.
yeah, that was his strategy.
I don't know that he had 100%. Success rate with that? Did you get sober from a bubbler? No? All right.
No, but I've smoked out of a few bubblers.
You smoked out of a few bubblers.
That's what I thought you were talking about, too.
So the Benson Bubblers use a significant amount of water annually, with estimates suggesting at least 19 million gallons, or nearly 40 swimming pools worth of water wasted.
And how long? Oh, a year?
I thought you were going to say a day.
Week? Yeah, what the hell?
Annually, every year, estimates 19 million. I know, but listen, I'm no tree hugger, but if I was on the Oregon City Council, I'm like, hey, come on. I like the old guys much as the next, but we have to fucking keep this charade going. It's been 130 years. What are we doing here?
Well, you also think when people think Oregon, they think Portland, and they think, oh, this progressive. Oregon is not. Progressive
logging country.
No, Oregon, you see guys with kilts and daggers in their fucking belts.
Nice.
Once you get outside.
Oh yeah, you
get some
deep
fucking
and dark,
deep dark dudes over there. Yeah,
my whole family's from Oregon.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen dudes with daggers and kilts and shit at the Quickie Mart. Once you get outside,
that's
of Portland.
Seattle's a big kilt place too.
It is.
They have you see dudes walking around in kilts because there's some kilt company up there that everybody loves. I can't remember it, but yeah, I was born in Oregon and lived in Seattle.
Adam Carolla's on the road. San Diego, April 11th and 12th at the American Comedy Club. Port Charlotte, Florida, May 2nd and 3rd at Vasani's Italian Steakhouse and Comedy Theater. And Melbourne, Florida on May 4th at the Melbourne Auditorium. Get tickets for these shows and a whole lot more at adamcarolla.com.
So the bubblers are still going, and I can't imagine that hundreds of over-officious, water-loving women on the Portland City Council have not said, we got to do away with these bubblers. I like tradition. I don't like regulation, but even I would go, yeah, just put a fucking foot pedal on it so you can get the water when you wanted it, and then it stopped when you were
people
done.
are so concerned about like almonds and the amount of water that it takes to make almonds.
Yeah.
It's like, what about the amount of water it takes to bubble Portland?
Well, you know, the other thing that I would do is I would go, look, can we get a water caption system for the bubblers? Like, use that water for irrigation? Yeah. And the answer would be no. Well, they'll not let you use that water.
For irrigation?
Yeah, to wash your kilt.
They would not let you wash your kilt with that water.
Really?
They have real strict rules. I know, because I've been to Ed Begley's house. And they have real strict rules about recapturing water and what you can use that recaptured water for, and they're really uptight about it. But so the bubbler, I made up the part of the philanthropic guy's wife. It wasn't her deal. It was just a rich guy from 113 years ago who put in the bubblers.
But when they thought water was just going to be endless.
I mean, they get a lot more rain out there, but
yeah.
Still seems like, I mean, they're on. Like I said, you walk by Sunday at 2 a.m, there's nobody around. Everything is closed, and those fucking things are bubbling.
And if you're thirsty, that's when you want to be
away.
there.
Or maybe, if that was L.A., we'd have people stealing the water.
Trucking it out.
That would be a way.
And people would say to me, well, that's ridiculous. Who would steal water? And I'd go, listen, we have people crawling under Priuses at 4 a.m, with a Sawzall stealing catalytic converters. I just saw this thing with our mayor saying they're doing a bunch of solar paneled street lights because none of the street lights work because they pulled the copper wiring out. So you tell me the bubbler theft, that's a bridge too far for people from LA? They're pulling fucking hot wire out of street lamps at 2 a.m. I think they'll steal this fucking water too.
Also, they steal. Have you seen that? There's a guy on TikTok who goes around every city with a plug and plugs in just, like outside of a business. There's just like a plug, and he plugs in. He's like, "There's power, free power," and he checks everywhere, and there's just so much free electricity.
I saw a dude out front of the club in Portland who was like in one of those Winnebagos, but he'd tapped into the power system and like tapped into the water system. And I'm like, first off, don't tell me that guy's unemployable. He just parallel parked a 32-foot Winnebago in the middle of a city, got out of it, tied into the fucking electrical grid, and tied into the fucking water. He's on a George Foreman grill in there, and he just turned his jacuzzi on for later. That guy can't get a job? That guy's one of the most employable guys I've ever seen.
I want to hire that guy.
I want to hire that guy. Yeah, I'm surprised, guys. If that was L.A., they would tap into the bubbler, be filling big jugs of it, and drag it like to the Home Depot and trying to sell it in front of the Home Depot. I saw in the world of jobs that are I don't know what the return is. The guy in front of the Home Depot over here who sells the chopped up papaya and the pineapple and shit on the cart with the machete. I love the idea that there's no regulation involved with that guy. It's like, hey, he wants to sell food with his hands in front of the Home Depot.
You don't know what's happening here.
It's not like he's trying to add on a porch or smoke on the beach or something, walk his dog on the beach. We don't have to enforce any of this. But I saw that guy loading up that cart in the back of his truck. Like, you got to load that thing up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Put it in the back of the truck, go drive home, go to the wholesale papaya district or something at 4 a.m. and get that shit, cut it all up, pack it nice, show up at the Home Depot at 7 a.m., stand there, or you could just get a fucking job for UPS or something, or find something. I don't know what he's pocketing.
But this guy don't got no papers, bud.
No papers.
You got to go outside the realm of regular work.
He's got to work under the table, under the cart.
They don't have any fruit regulations, but they don't let you serve those bacon-wrapped hot dogs.
Oh, they do.
Oh, they do.
They got those.
You have them, but it's illegal.
Well,
sore leaf
as
blowers.
I was thinking at 8 a.m. when I got woken up by a leaf blower. Yeah, so
got woken up by a bacon-wrapped hot dog.
What is the story with the bubbler? Portland must have tried to shut the bubblers 1,000 times.
Really?
Well, got to be a coalition,
right?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is I could go, look, it's 1931. I'm a rich industrialist, and I'm gonna dedicate a swastika to the town square, or whatever. Yeah. And then some point I would die in 1963, and no one would go, we got to keep this, it's his legacy. Yeah. You got to go, no, we don't want this. I mean, you guys tear down statues all fucking day, every day in Portland. Why are we putting up with the bubblers? There's something that's baked in. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's Big Bubbler. Greasing the palms, Yeah, they got their lobbyists out there spreading the money around. These guys go right from the drinking fountain manufacturing right into Big Bubble, and they become lobbyists, and they're greasing everyone's palm.
Totally in with them.
Yeah, he's in with Big Bubbler.
Hey, man, they support my whole campaign. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I'm going to let my campaign go down the drain. Okay. Next. What is the bubbler story? Because they can't like it. It's got to be great for birds.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a bird,
maybe
that's
a
Valhalla for you. Like just going into Portland going, I'm just going to hang out in these bubblers.
It's their way of making up for windows.
Nobody.
Which has really been the death of a lot of birds.
It is, but in a way, it's a humane death for birds. You know what I mean? Like windows.
They thought that they're going to get to a couch, and that's their last thought.
Windows and windmills. Yeah, like the last thought is I'm going to swoop in and eat that cat food in the living room, and then it's just gone.
Bye-bye.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the windmill's the same thing, getting killed by the windmill. It's not like, I got a tumor, and I had to, I was bedridden, and, I had
It's become a natural death eventually.
Yeah.
Where at first it was they were made just so we could see birds.
Yeah.
From inside.
The cruel irony.
Windows are funny. The other thing that's funny with birds are mirrors. But it also shows what assholes birds are, because it's basically like it'd be the equivalent of me like walking and going, "Hey, there's another dude. Fucking come on," and just charge him. I don't have to attack him. It's just I'm looking at another version of me.
Yeah, that guy's and you don't.
But that would make you a homicidal maniac if you went like, it's a dude that looks like Nick Dude. Fuck that! You start rushing him, like scrapping at him, because birds see each other and go, "Oh, it's on," and they just rush each other.
And you see it, and you're like, "Thank God I don't look like that guy."
I just get my jab going. You know what I mean? Work that double leg.
Poke the jab.
Yeah.
One was ripped from the ground once, but it was replaced, the bubbler. During periods of prolonged summer drought, the Water Bureau has turned them off for a period of time, both to conserve water and to encourage citizens to conserve during... because what it is they're giving a guy a ticket who lives up the road because he hosed down his driveway because it was a drought, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're giving me a ticket. How are the bubblers doing, officer? I know it's such a waste of water, me cleaning my car in the driveway. The fucking bubblers. You walk past 5 bubblers to write me this fucking ticket. Shut the fuck up." So they didn't want the bad bubbler publicity when they're telling everyone to sweep their driveway.
Bubbler people, the big bubbler was just like, we'll turn it off for a week.
Yeah.
Wipe the slate clean.
Well, there have been discussions and actions related to the Benson Bubblers in Portland. There isn't a widespread movement or public campaign. It's probably would be death for a mayor politically to like run on getting rid of the bubblers, right?
Yeah.
I'd be like me going, I'm going to get rid of the bobbleheads at Dodger Stadium. Be like, boo! We're not going to vote for this guy.
No.
And then my opponent would do one of those commercials where it was black and white, and a picture of me looking sad and angry.
And you're like a bobblehead. And it's
just he says no to the bobblehead. Making goofy noise. It always gets black and white.
You have a baseball bat. They don't know why, but.
Let's see, the widespread movement or campaign, never had it, especially targeting the shutdown. However, they are turned off during cold weather and for maintenance. But that's it. Portland, man. That's their thing. The bubblers.
It'd be nice to know if it was like they only use rainwater. You know, like if there was one thing in there that they were like, we're not taking it from like the water source, just, you know.
Yeah.
If there was one, but it seems like it's just waste.
It is, considering I've been to Portland enough to see like hundreds of people just walking past them and they're just on. I mean, it'd be essentially like if some old rich guy died, but he said I could leave my hose running in my front yard in perpetuity. You know, just it's Carolla's house. His dad was rich.
Hey, there's a hose up there we can take a sip out of.
Yeah. All right. Do we have our...
Did you ever do that where you were just walking around the neighborhood when you were young and you sip off someone else's hose?
I did that last week.
Love that.
All this poor guy stuff, been there, done it all, man. I've done the eat fruit off of people's trees move.
Yeah.
I've done the suck off their hose move. When I used to live in a garage and in North Hollywood and had no air and no window mount unit. It had no air of any kind. And it would get up to like 110 in the summertime. And garages don't even have insulation that's proper. Like, you ever go into a garage, like you pull your car into the garage, you get out of the garage, you go, fuck, it's hot here. Or you go, whoa, it's cold. And then you go in the house. Even if the house doesn't have air, it feels different because it's insulated. It has an attic and stuff. So my garage, I'd be out there like fucking Cool Hand Luke, just sweating all night, laying on top of my cot mattress, just sweating out. And I got up almost every night during the summer, and I went to my neighbor's pool, and they had a big 6-foot fence and a dog, and I every night it'd get about 12 to 2 a.m. depending, and I would just hop the fence naked and just wear my kilt. I would just lower myself into their swimming pool, just lower myself and just hold myself underwater for 30 seconds, and I'll get my core down. You know, when you go in a cool body of water, you get that core down.
Get back in your hot.
Get out, over the fence, back to the sweat box. And that would carry me on to about 6 a.m.
What a nightmare.
It was also, I'd wake up with mildew in my hair because I go to bed wet, you know, because it's the only way I could do it. Yeah.
Heat, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Makes me hate my parents a little bit because I think if my son was sweltering in a hot box in the
that
back
wasn't your
of the
family. That wasn't like you struggling when you were in your 20s.
Well, that was me. I was definitely struggling. When I was struggling to get out of the fucking neighbor's pool. You also have... It is uncanny how loud water is in the still dead of the night. Like 3 a.m, just dead silence, and you get out of the pool and it's loud. Like you couldn't just bound out of that pool. I had to like very
slip out like
slowly.
Rambo.
Yeah, like a Navy SEAL, face painted on
it's
my
like
belly.
You're trying to take a shit in like a public restroom, and the person next to you, you're like, oh god, I don't want to make one noise here.
I just asked him what he ate for lunch.
Did you? I don't know why. I'm so glad you brought this up, but do you have weird flashbacks to when you were like a little kid and somebody did something weird or funny when you were like 7 and like a stranger or something, or like a joke? Or I just had this weird thought the other day, which is when I was like 7, I was at North Hollywood Park, and we went into the bathroom to change like into our Pop Warner football. They brought us our Pop Warner football uniforms, and like go in the bathroom and change. And me and like another guy, 7, 8-year-old guy from the team, we went in there and we opened the door and we were like, oh my God, oh, it smells so bad. And we could see a guy was on the pot, but we were like 7 and we just, from the mouth of babes, you know what I mean? Like now you would have just laughed or sort of pushed through it or done the shield with the shirt sleeve, you know, the shields, you know. But we were like, we were just going, oh, whoa, it's so bad. It smells so bad in here. And I hear the lone dude's voice from the stall. Like at the 3rd or 4th time, me and this 7-year-old are screaming about it. I just hear the guy yell, you don't have to broadcast it. And I remember just thinking that's the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life, and I'll never forget it. 50 years ago, I remember it like it was yesterday.
You know, I mean, it's a very similar story. There's a bathroom at my son's school that's I dropped my kid off, and I basically was like, oh, I'm gonna shit myself. Like, I have to go to the bathroom right now. So I go thinking maybe I'll just sneak into a teacher bathroom. Nothing. So I just go into the kids' bathroom. And
you sit on a tiny little pot
sitting there, and it was bad. And it was, an adult had been in there, obviously. Yeah. And kids came in, and they were like, "Oh my god, who has been in here?" And I'm just thinking, I have to wait because my son can't be the guy whose dad just ruined the bathroom.
You lift your feet up so that they can't see your shoes,
affecting his reputation at school.
That's because they're used to 9-year-old shit.
No, they
not 41-year-old
45-year-old man shit.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
I learned that once. I had a friend named Mark from the Acme comedy troupe who was a big dude. Like, he was fat back when people weren't fat, like he was a novelty fat, it was 350 pounds. And I slept over at his house once when I was like, I don't know, 28 or something. Obviously, accommodations have always been like a bit of an issue for me. But I didn't have any money, And like, we were friends, but we weren't, we wouldn't shower in front of each other or anything. But at some point in the morning, we slept on the same bed. He had like a big queen-size bed in his apartment. And at some point in the morning, I just ripped a fart, but I did like 180-pound fart, I just went, and I started laughing like I was in bed, like, and he went, oh, really? And he just went, I was like, oh, that's what a 400-pound dude can do.
Well,
tuba, I had like a piccolo, you know what I mean?
To me, there's this like pooping when you're alone and pooping when you know other people are around you.
Yeah.
And once I was in a women's bathroom because there was no other option. And I was in there alone, and then a woman came in and sat in the stall next to me, and I really quickly lifted my legs up because I thought, oh, God. So she thought she was alone. And the only way that I could ever think to describe what she did was if you take a fireworks show and begin with the finale.
The crescendo.
Just really, and then it ends with one poppet. It's just like the most backwards fireworks show you've ever seen in your life.
We should have started slow applauding.
I was dripping in sweat. She had no idea.
Was like John Philip Sousa playing in the background?
Yeah.
Just silence.
You're doing a core workout with your
changed my life that day, actually.
If you were into some weird sexual shit.
Well, now I am.
Now you are. Yeah.
She had no idea that she was some pervert was just 2 feet away from her wondering what's this new fetish I've got.
You lifted your feet up because you had to, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Scared.
You do a lot of unauthorized shitting.
Yeah, you do.
That was authorized because the person.
Sure, pal.
The person who told me I could go in there was the guy that he booked a comedy show, and the men's bathroom just had a urinal and a sink. And he said, hey, there's actually a women's bathroom nobody knows about. It's backstage. He goes, there's a women's bathroom over here everybody used, but that one. And so I go back there, and I was just going to let her finish. And go out and hopefully never know. But then another woman walked in, and she tried her door, and the doors were. It's hard to explain it.
You had to admit
broken. So the door opens, and she goes, "Sorry, stall's taken." She goes, "But there's no one in the stall next to me."
Oh, except for a 6'3" bearded dude.
And it's like, hey, why don't you mind your own fucking business about who's in the stall over here? So she comes over to try and open my stall. And I'm holding the door because it's the lock's broken.
Yeah.
And there's hinges down the middle. It's one of those like it's a wooden. Anyways, I had to basically I stall's taken.
It's bifolding?
You did the voice?
Hold on.
You went stall's taken?
I tried it. I don't think
you went full Mrs. Shitfire.
Hello. Stall's taken.
Put this cake frosting on my face.
Turns out I'm her husband.
All right, hold on. When the hinge goes down the middle, it's a bifolding door.
Yeah. And there's a hook on the inside that had nothing to hook onto.
Right. The eye hook had been pulled off.
Yep.
Hold on. Just to give you kudos, it's one thing to just put your foot up a swinging door that swings in or something like that, but a bifolding, that's a weird. A weird grab.
You got to hit it in the middle, knowing that it's not going to fold in. Kind of like a Heisman sort of a. They stiff arm it. But she was. I mean, I don't know if she was an athlete or what she was, but she wouldn't quit. She was going. I thought she would feel it was locked and then walk out. But finally, I did think I'll just do a woman's voice. Except I'm a man that hasn't spoken for now 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. So what came out was like, stalls taken. Right. And she just ran. I mean, it was, and
you tried the woman's voice.
I tried it and it failed. Yeah, it was like a frog, like it just.
Kermit.
Mm-hmm. But then it was really quiet in there. And she, when you're in there, you can hear somebody wipe.
How long ago is this?
6-7 years ago.
Now, what city were we in? Sorry.
That was L.A.
Okay, so now you have kind of plausible deniability because it's like I was transitioning. There's a lot of weird. It's murky now. It's very murky now. You could have gotten away with it like now.
The story's ending is, to me, that's the most. So Grant is the guy that booked the show at the Hotel Alexandria, which is this downtown place. Mm-hmm. He's the one that told me about the bathroom. Yeah. This girl shits. She's done. She leaves. And I think to myself, the only way out of this bathroom is through a hallway that goes directly back onto stage. That's the only way.
Right.
That's why he told me no one knows about it. Like it's backstage.
Right.
So I thought if I were her, I would go out there and kind of hide in the back and wait to see who comes out next. Because that person heard me do that.
They're playing spy games?
Yeah. So I walk out looking to see who it was. And I felt so bad. And I see her see me. And she kind of looks and she ducks. And I walk right at her. And I'm like, hey, I am so sorry about that. That was...
Was Sarah Silverman nice about it?
Well, she goes, it's okay. And right as she's about to introduce herself, Grant walks up and goes, he's kind of confused. He goes, Nick, do you know my girlfriend, Sandy?
Oh, wow.
Which, by the way, the name Sandy is kind of apropos. I don't know.
Sandy explosion on her ass.
You can hear them wipe in that silence.
I know.
Yeah, you can because it's that quiet in there.
It's somebody, okay, bathroom.
I'm not sure Sandy got it all either.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. The couple things. There needs to be ordinances, which is, for one, like in a hotel, even a bad hotel, there should be no such thing as a hollow core bathroom door.
Yeah.
It needs to be full 2-hour burn rating, solid core,
well, do you know
inch and 3/4, solid core fucking door. Because you go to the cheap place, you got the hollow core inch and 3/8 door. You're looking at a 1/2 inch of daylight under it.
Yeah.
They don't put a fucking sweep under it. The bathroom is basically acoustically like a metal drum. You know what I mean? Like literally tile and porcelain everywhere. No one ever did a podcast in a bathroom because it's like the worst acoustic. Your fucking voice would be bouncing off the toilet, the tub, the ceiling, the tile, the whole place. And then you got your new gal sitting on the bed, technically only about 5 feet away. And
less.
She's like texting. And you're like, let me turn the TV on. And they're like, no, I'm just going to text here. And they're like, if a fucking mouse farted in this bathroom, you would hear it.
Yeah. I just use Street Fighter sound effects. I'll be like, Hadouken! Like, you know what I mean?
How quiet I had to be to stay under. But the Hotel Alexandria was a hotel in the 1920s, and now it's a halfway house.
Oh, really?
So these doors were not only hinged down the middle, they were also shuttered, wooden shuttered. So these used to be on windows, and there were dowels on the inside that you could lift up and
let me do this for you. Bifolding louver doors.
That's what they are.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was a butt hinge.
Yeah, see, I've hung many a bifolded.
Yeah, so these are bifolding louver doors.
You guys want to know something?
Sure.
When you hang a bifolding door, they'll use them the washer and dryer in this alcove, and we got these 2 bifolding doors here. We're not going to swing doors and cut off the hallway, but we don't want to look at the washer and the dryer or whatever. The knob, like when you do a knob on a kitchen cabinet door, you put it like in the corner at the bottom and you go, okay, let's swing it open. You don't put it at the end. Because if you put the knob on the end, it's bifolding. Mm-hmm. You put it in the middle and you pull it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sounds a little weird. It's just a little bifolding louver door tip for folks who are listening.
Well, knobs should be intuitive and in the place that you think, oh, if I see that, that's where, it's a pull or
Well,
a
here's
push.
the question. I would put my knob on the door that was widest, close, because when you pull it, it pulls it in.
Well, we all have our own sexual preferences.
A lot of people put it on the first door, but by the hinge. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not describing this right. Where do you put a knob?
What you're saying.
Where does the internet say to put a knob on a bifolding door?
I think right by the door, like the opposite
Hold
of
on,
the
Byron
hinge.
just put up a picture of a gym shower.
Yeah.
It should be the middle on the
It should
right
be,
side of the
right?
hinge.
But normally,
All right, there's two doors.
Yep.
One is hinged against the door jamb, and the other has a hinge running down the middle of it.
Right?
Yeah.
Which one are we putting it on?
Oh, and it's a push. It collapsed inside of itself.
Some are push, but some are pull. For bifolding doors, the knob or the handle is typically installed on the leading door in the middle of the door near the hinge. So it is the lead, but it's still technically better to be on the second door because when you pull it, it just pulls in.
Yeah.
All right. This placement ensures even force distribution. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with more bifolding louver door conversation in the news right after this. BetterHelp. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Well, what are some of your relationship green flags? You always hear about red flags, but the green flags. And I like that as a metaphor because that's when the race starts, when the green flag drops. We often hear about the red flags and what to avoid, but what are you looking for? Let's focus on the green flags for partners and friends and relationships. I happen to like therapy. I've always been a big fan of therapy. Got a family that has that in their background, and it just helps. So BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Easy to switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. You get your head together and the rest falls in line. So let's get some BetterHelp, shall we? Am I right, Dawson?
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Life isn't about resolutions that fade by February. It's about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your own life. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, convenient, and flexible. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
Homes.com. Some might say Homes.com is the best home shopping site. It may be. Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory, or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
I didn't go to school, and it's an insecurity that I wear on my sleeves. Like, I just can't stop thinking about it. I feel less than a lot of people. In America, there's, just like you guys have a 4-year university, but we also have this nice thing called a community college, which is basically the best way to describe it is a place where adults hang out in between jobs.
Nick Thune is on the Adam Carolla Show.
It's got a stand-up special, Born Young. It's available as we speak on YouTube. Got dates. Going to be at the Elysian Theater in Los Angeles. That'll be April 19th, and then May 28th. Irvine at the Irvine Improv. You go to nickthune.com. What do you got in the news, Mayhem?
All right, first up, got some video, no audio. A woman's fencer opens up on refusing to face transgender opponent, accepting punishment and backlash. I'm sure you...
She's getting punishment?
Yeah, the female fencer says the issue turned from a lifelong Democrat to conservative Republican. How
you think of certain sports, and you go, what's the advantage? What's the advantage here? And you watch highlights of the WNBA, and then the next highlight clip is the NBA, and you go, okay, there's a big difference here between men and women. But fencing, I feel like it'd be with some reach, maybe a little arm.
Base, really?
But women are okay on their feet, and they love to cut up a dude. Like, they're inspired. You know what I mean? They're angry. They're motivated. You know what I mean? You get to stab a dude.
Yeah, this is her taking off her helmet, taking a knee, and essentially saying that, I can't face you because
What's
you're
this
a man.
rope?
She says this.
It's a weird sport. They have a tether attached to them. It's essentially the opposite of sword fighting as we know it through cinema. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up with the Three Musketeers, man. It was guys would slash a rope and a whole candle,
candelabra.
They'd slash the candelabra. They'd slash the rope. Well, first they'd swing on the chandelier, and then they'd land, and then they'd slash the rope, and the chandelier would fall on all the guards. They don't make them to capture guardsmen anymore, And it was like stuff was getting knocked over, and guys were carving, the Z in a guy's chest, and they're wearing a mustache and stuff. Now they're all fucking padded up with a tether on them and stuff. Like, I don't get it.
It's a game of tag, yeah. Well, she got black carded for this, I guess in fencer parlance. That's like really bad. She's disallowed from disallowed from competing in tournaments again. So,
all right, well, listen.
Unsportsmanlike behavior.
This is like, it's one of those, all right, I don't, the argument is, here's the argument. The right goes, we don't want men competing with women. By the way, there's never beef about the other way around. No one ever goes, hey, this chick wants to join the men's football team, and everyone goes like, fine, because I don't think they have an advantage. Like, it only goes one direction. The beef is with a physical advantage over your opponent. Sports, here's the thing about sports, everybody. Listen to me. Sports are all about parity all the time. That's all they do. NASCAR, F1, the scrutineering is insane. I mean, every car needs to pass tech, 100%. Even in my vintage racing, they have tech inspections for cars. And they will tell you, they go, okay, we're doing this vintage race. It's the Rolex Historics in Monterey. Here's your run group. Here are the tires you can run. You cannot run modern tires. It's unfair to other people for you to be on these non-biased slicks or whatever, whereas other guys are running old school tires that would be appropriate with the era that the car was raced. So they got tons of rules because they go, look, it's got to be just the driver. We're going to check, and they pass the car through tech. F1 is like, forget about it. Templates and measurements and weights and blah, blah, blah. If a car has like an advantage, like back in the day, they'll start adding weight to the back of the car to stop their advantage. Tom Brady had 4 less pounds in his football of air, and they're like, fuck that. No, they have to be, you cannot deflate gate over here. We don't need to put gate behind everything that's controversial. I don't know why we do that all the time, but the point is all we do is parody. That's all we do. Or how about, it's the Little League, and there's a guy on the 13-year-old team, but he's Dominican, and he lost his driver's license, and he's got a mustache, and it's like, we can't have a 17-year-old playing with the 13-year-olds. And it's all parody. That's all it is. We go, we need to even out the playing field. I mean, they even have, it's like in football, they go, you go this direction for the first half, and then you go the other direction in the second half in case there's something going on. The wind is blowing, or the field's a little out of kilter, whatever it is. Zero advantages. So this is really just an extension of what we always do, which is there's nobody in the MLB who plays with an aluminum bat. And if you did try to go up to the plate with an aluminum bat, they'd be like, no, got to be out of hickory or whatever.
Now they do the torpedo
bat. Well, but see,
same thing though.
You're making my point, which is somebody came out with a bat that's a little bit different in shape, and now it's a big discussion. Can we use this bat? Is it an advantage? No one says it's a 50% advantage. Is it a 2% advantage? If it is, that's too much because we need parity. So that's all this is. The guy's got a little more muscle mass, a little taller, he's a little stronger. He's got an advantage, so we're against it.
Yeah.
And then the Democrats are always like, what are you guys obsessed with this for? And the answer is like, we didn't want to be obsessed with it, but this thing started happening, and then we said, no, that's all. You don't have to be obsessed with it. Just no.
It's fencing culture, I guess. A lot of people are from colleges and whatnot, so it's a very woke kind of
But what would be the sport that would work? Like bowling, men have a higher average, right? Obviously, there's the football and the wrestling and then boxing or combat sports or something. But fencing would be getting around that would down to a spot. Like I don't really understand why there's a women's division in pool. You know what I mean? Like, shouldn't we just have pool players? Like, I don't know how much upper body does it take. Like,
is there anything where they don't have a division?
Yeah, horse jumping.
Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they do that in the horse jumping competition. Male and females compete. Yeah, side by side.
That's because it's those jockeys, those really.
Yeah, women are lighter normally than men, so maybe they do have a little advantage there. And they fucking love horses. Every girl has a phase where it's like, I want a horse. I love a horse. I need a horse.
Oh yeah, I mean the size of their.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine making the pitch to my parents. Hey, I'm looking at horses this weekend. What do you say? Like, you're not even getting Levi's. You're getting fucking Tough Skins. Like, forget about a horse. A horse. I would have loved to make that pitch. I'd like to go back in time and film myself asking my parents for shit that my kids asked me for.
Genuinely?
Yeah, like my daughter's like, look, I got the Mercedes you leased me, but next time around I like a convertible, if that'd be cool. Like, I just like to watch my dad's face going, what? You want what? Like, it'd be the craziest. That'd be the best show ever.
Yeah.
Adam builds a time machine and asks his
so
dad
that he
for
could
stuff.
ask his dad for dumb stuff.
He'd just be like, no. Like, what do you mean a horse? Like, well, my parents would be confused. Like I'd go to them, I want to go to space camp this year. It's in Tampa, Florida. They'd look at me like, I don't know what you're asking. Like, they wouldn't go, you know how much money that would cost. I don't think it would. It'd be like talking to a person. It'd be like finding a person from 1812 and pulling out your cell phone and going, you want to check it out?
You want to see what maps are like?
Yeah, or we can watch people fuck. They just go like this. Go, what? You're a sorcerer. You know, that's from the future. All right, what else you got, man?
A little sad news here. Miller Gardner's toxicology results confirm his cause of death after the Yankees' great son, 14, died on vacation. Yeah, apparently he died of carbon monoxide inhalation. The son of a Yankees legend, Brett Gardner. Yeah, they were in Costa Rica. Costa Rican authorities said that the hotel room, filled with carbon monoxide, and the rest of the family was suffering a mysterious illness.
I've had carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
First off, that's the way to die.
Yeah,
it is. It's the equivalent of the bird hitting the glass. You go to bed. You just go to bed and you don't wake up.
What?
That's it. There's no pain. If there was a struggle, you would wake up and stagger out of the room. Mm-hmm. You do not. You go to bed. That's it. And that's why people used to kill themselves in their cars all the time before all these catalytic converters and oxygen pumps and all this EPA bullshit. They just put the hose in the exhaust pad.
Yeah, how many scenes
garage.
in every movie we've seen that? It's like
fire it up, go to bed. Mm-hmm. Just go to bed. The carbon monoxide makes you sleepy, like coming out of oral surgery kind of vibe, you know, or like that.
Yeah,
going under when they put you under. That's what it feels.
It's not like drowning. It's not like
there's no struggle. I'm saying this to anyone who's thinking about killing themselves. don't jump off a fucking skyscraper. You're going to land on somebody who's just walking their dog. You know what I mean? And don't do death by cop or whatever. That guy's got to live with that. Carbon monoxide, man. You literally go to bed.
You should do some PSAs.
I should. And I'd start off, hey, I'm Adam Carolla. But I have to do that from the Man Show. I have to do that from where I'm known from. You know.
Adam Carolla from the Man Show.
You might remember me from the Man Show.
Yeah, I got to do the you might remember me at the beginning, because otherwise it's going to be like, who's this dude talking to me about this? You know. And see, in places that are kind of third worldy, they don't have their shit figured out. So you just go to bed and the heater's on and the heater's that's not properly ventilated and it's going into the thing and it's pumping through the thing. Yeah. Carbon dioxide will fuck you up. It will kill you.
It is.
And there's nothing you're going to do about it because you just go, I'm going to bed. And it's just creeping in and you can't smell it and you just don't wake up. And if you do, you're completely out of it and you're nauseous and
those
everything
carbon
else.
monoxide dreams are.
Oh my God.
You're just driving in a car down a lonesome highway.
Yeah, I had the dream. I was in a bathroom at a comedy club, and some bitch was shitting up the stall next to me. I was like, oh my God, this bifolding door! I can't get out of here. It's a crazy dream, man.
That really quick. Were you friends with Greg Giraldo?
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't friends with him, but I know.
Somebody told me this funny joke that he did the other day. He was pissing next to somebody in one of those bathrooms, and
no, he didn't do the joke the other day, though.
Told about this experience.
Gone for 10 years?
Yeah, gone for 10 years. And they had those little dividers between the urinals, and in the middle of peeing, he knocked on it and said, I hate these things.
All right, sad, but that does not happen in this country at the Sheraton Universal or whatever. That is a thing. As much as I rail against...
No, in this country, they get eaten by alligators.
That's right, in Florida. As much as I like to rail against, red tape and over-regulation and shit like that, we got building codes here, and that shit doesn't happen here.
Well, explain this, because it doesn't say it in the, what would be the likely reason for this? Would it be... if you violate some code, there's some type of carbon monoxide released from somewhere in the house. They didn't state it in this report.
I don't know why in Costa Rica or wherever it was. If you turn your heater on and your heater is not properly vented, it'll kick back. Just like fires start when people turn their dryers on and the vents all filled with lint.
Yeah.
But get a carbon monoxide alarm as well as a smoke alarm. The thing about a fire is fires are kind of loud if you ever really think about a fire. Like stuff burning is loud. And I mean, my neighbor's house caught on fire a million years ago. I was a million feet away, watching SportsCenter in my den, and I could hear it pop, whatever. Mm-hmm. You wake up, you smell it, and you hear it, and then you get up and you go, I'll fucking crawl out of the window in my underpants. Carbon monoxide, you just go to bed, and you do not wake up, and there's no anything going off. So you need a carbon monoxide alarm detector, really, but they're built into a lot of smoke detectors, and they're, I don't know, $25 or something. So it's no big deal to do it. You know what's weird? Look up Vetus Garrulitis.
What?
You guys know who Vetus Garrulitis is?
Never met him.
Yeah, she's hot.
Well, I never met Abraham Lincoln, but do you know who Vetus Garrulitis is? No. Okay. Vetus Garrulitis was a professional ranked, maybe Wimbledon winning tennis player, top ranked back in with the John McEnroe days and all that kind of stuff. Oh no, you're thinking of the other guy.
Okay.
But you're thinking of Bjorn Borg.
There we go. I'm in the same era, though, right? It's like a crossover.
Yeah, Vetus Garrulitis, I don't know what his biggest win was. I don't know if he won the French Open or he won Wimbledon. What is Vetus Garrulitis' biggest tennis win, and what year is it? One of you can yell into a
picture of him
microphone. No, there's no...
biggest win was 1977 Australian Open champion.
Okay. So look up how Vitas Gerulaitis died. Now, we'll look that up. I'm sitting in a room in Las Vegas about 3 or 4 weeks ago at the Building and Home Convention. And I'm talking to different guys who come in, and they go, some guys make doors and windows, and some guys make cabinets, and some guys make flooring, and you talk to them, and I go, I'm going to build a house in Nevada, and we're going to do a show house, and we're going to get your product in it, and we'll give you a break on the price, and blah, blah, blah. And you spend an afternoon, these guys come in, they do tile, and they do doors and windows, and they sit down. Well, I know everything, so it's easy for me to talk to them about whatever it is they're making, whatever the product is. So this 50-something-year-old guy, he comes in, and he sits down, and I go, what do you guys do? And they go, well, we do smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Vitas died at age 40, improperly installed propane heater for the swimming pool. He was staying in a guest house at a friend's house, went to a friend's house and used the guest house, and he died in his sleep in the guest house of some rich family because they had carbon monoxide they didn't have their propane pool heater or something. It was fucked up, and it went into the guest house. Now, by the way, if a high-profile rich white guy dies in your fucking guest house and you're rich, you got to douse him with vodka and drag him out to the pool and just throw him in the pool and say that's how we found it, because you're going to get the shit sued out of you by his family, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all you do is, I guess Vitas had a few pops and maybe just fell into the pool at night. But but if it's carbon monoxide,
that's on you.
You're getting your ass sued off, right? Yeah. There's always going to be something where somebody told you could be an issue and it wasn't properly ventilated, but you didn't fix it, whatever that is. All right, so this guy comes in and he goes, I go, what do you do? We're meeting in the building show, and he goes, we do carbon monoxide testers. And I go, oh man, yeah, you don't want to end up like Vitas Gerulaitis. And he goes, who?
No.
I go, really? There's one dude who died. One guy who died because he didn't have your product in. You'd have posters of him in your showroom, and he's like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, you should know who Vitas Gerulaitis is, A, because he won the Australian Open, number one. But number two, he died of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah,
these things.
He's like the Michael Jordan of carbon monoxide.
Yes, that's what I said. It was like you were there. I was like, what you want is you need, it's like you need a poster child for something. It's like when that kid got AIDS from the blood transfusion, and all of a sudden they became a poster child for this, and we got a lot of it rejuvenated the whole movement, All right.
Someone needs to hold the flag.
I'm just saying, look, I don't expect these guys in the booth to know who Vitas Gerulaitis is. But if they were in their 50s and they sold carbon monoxide detectors, I would. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Did you give the guy the tip and now he knows? And
it was him and his partner.
Yeah.
And they were trying to sell me on their product, and I was like, we're not doing any of this until we look up Vitas Gerulaitis. I'm not going along with this. Look at him. Good-looking dude.
Stud.
Died at 40. You're a tennis champion. You're in fantastic shape.
Damn.
But like I said, just went to bed in the guest house. Turned on the heater. Went to bed. That's how horrible that is. All right. We got our next guest waiting over there on Zoom, Adam B. Coleman. So I'm going to bid adieu to you two. Nick, always great to see you, my friend.
Great to be here.
I'm very glad things are working out for you. Born Young is the name of the stand-up special, and dates as well, nickthune.com. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hey, I'm wearing my O'Reilly hat right now. Actually, I was wearing it earlier, and someone just complimented me on it. And then he said, I got one in the car. I said, good. That's where it belongs, because O'Reilly knows the cars. O'Reilly Auto Parts. They offer friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need for all your maintenance and repairs. I've always used these guys. You guys know I'm a car guy. You know I'm deep in that world, and I've always gone to O'Reilly to get my parts. Whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly, well, they're knowledgeable, they're helpful, and best off, they are friendly. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. Rough greens. Sometimes in life, you want to get to the truth, you got to look at those numbers. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who's the creator of Rough Greens, tells us that unfortunately 50% of all dogs over 10 years of age will die of cancer. You love your dog, and I love my dog, so let's give him some Rough Greens. I talked to Dr. Dennis for quite some time, and he is very passionate about this product because it's alive, and you don't have to feed your dog that old food. Well, you can, but you bring it back to life. With Rough Greens, your dog's diet, that is the problem with your dog's health and your early demise of the dogs. But there's good news, because Rough Greens has thousands of testimonials and 5-star reviews. Every month, Rough Greens is the #1 all-natural dog supplement in America, and for good reason. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. It's super easy if you love your pet like I do, Phil. Am I right, Dawson?
Fetch a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today. Go to roughgreens.com. Just use promo code Adam. That's RUFF greens.com and use promo code Adam and just cover shipping. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace Man, Curtis from Kansas City. Hey, just listen to the first 7 chapters of Not Taco Bell material. Jesus, I fucking hate your parents and I hate your whole family. Hey, have a good weekend.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Well, Adam B. Coleman is joining us via Zoom. He's got a book out, The Children We Left Behind, How Western Culture Rationalizes... Wait, is that the right word? Yeah, rationalizes family separation and ignores the pain of child neglect. It is out as we speak. Good to see you, Adam.
Thank you for having me on. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, so specifically, it's really the destruction of the black nuclear family is the root of all problems. And it's an equal opportunity destroyer. It will destroy any culture, regardless of the color of your skin. The families that stay together do the best, whatever you are, and white people don't have the market cornered on that. We got a 50% failing grade on that as well, and that's why Asians and Jews and others, many Nigerians, are above us.
Yeah, I mean, just as you were saying, it's not just one particular group. That's why I wanted to point out Western culture. It's not just the United States. It's the United Kingdom. It's other Western nations that are facing family separation issues. It's just that the United States is #1 and the United Kingdom is #2. But the family separation issue is very personal to me because that's my childhood story. I wanted to use my story as an example. What happens? The obvious is, someone who gets into crime, breaks into your house. You look at their history and they come from foster care. They come from dysfunction. But there are a lot who are suffering in silence. You don't know that they're going through these things. And the dysfunction turns out to be things that maybe it's not illegal, but it is slowly destroying our society.
Yes. So every time I hear a person who claims to represent the black community talk about having an honest conversation about what's going on in the black community, they seem to miss this one topic. They talk about systemic racism and everything under the sun, environmental racism, just COVID racism. And I've been yelling about the whole family angle for 30 years into a microphone, and you basically get called a racist if you do that, and politicians stay away from it. But it is insane that they're working on everything else, but they're not working on the cause of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I would question, are they actually working on something else, or are they just bloviating about it?
Well, good
but
point.
The reason why nothing changes is because, like you said, the root of all of this comes from some sort of family dysfunction. And it just becomes, especially when we talk about Black Americans, I've been saying that it becomes a normal cultural aspect. I use my wife as an example. She grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. In her entire neighborhood, every family had basically no father in the home except for one, and they were from the Caribbean. So for her, it was normal. You know, she grew up without her father as well, and no one questioned it. And this is part of the problem. That's like a microcosm if you talk about Black Americans in certain places where it becomes normal. But what I'm seeing is that it's becoming normal throughout all of America, where every person I come in contact with knows someone who's dealing with family separation, whether it's through divorce or whether it's through single parenthood, no marriage situation.
Well, as I would always say, and I used to do a show called Love Line, and we talked to a lot of troubled people back in the day. And I would say, talking to all these troubled people, I go, look, you can talk about prison reform, you can talk about defund the police, you can talk about school and vouchers and school choice, you can talk about crime, you can talk about suicide, you can talk about everything every ill of our society, every single thing. It all stems from this thing, the family. And so the family is the hub, and then the rest are the spokes that just go away from the hub in many, many different directions. But it all comes back to the hub. And if we would focus on the hub, like you guys want to talk about more funding for after-school specials, after-school activities, or free lunches, or programs where the parks stay open until midnight and there's security there for these kids that don't have a place to go, or feeding the kids during the summertime when they're not at school because they don't have food that they can eat. And I'm like, or we could just talk about the family. We could talk about the family. We could fix that family up. And then we don't have to worry about the crime and the poverty and the desperation.
Yeah, exactly. You know, this is the difference between talking about supplements and replacements, right? You want after school type of programs, and you want better this and better that. Those are supplemental. They're not replacements for a father. They're not replacements for a proper structured home. Just in the situation we talk about education obviously is terrible for a multitude of reasons, especially in the public education space. But at the end of the day, where are these kids coming from? Are they coming from a dysfunctional home? Are they coming from a home where the single mother is working long hours, working multiple jobs to take care of the kids? And by the time she comes home, she can't study with the children. She's not focused on it because she can't. She has so much pressure on her. These are unfair circumstances for her to be in to try to satisfy every single need of the home. So we have to kind of look at that bigger picture of the home, because everything else, you can have all the programs you want. You can reform all these things that you want. But if the root of it is spoiled, then everything else will follow suit.
Yeah. And I guess everyone knows it. It's a third rail for politicians, so they never get near it. Democrats especially, we need more funding. You know, we need to get them tablets and laptop computers and stuff. It's like, look, if it's chaos at home, it's not about technology. It's not about funding. Right. Everything for them is funding. We just need more money so we can fix this problem. But the people that irk me the most, and it's not really the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jackson Jr. It's not really, the race hustlers are just race hustling. They're getting paid. Like, they're doing what they're doing. That's their job. It's kind of sad that that's a job, race hustling. to me, the sad part is when Biden becomes a race hustler and Obama becomes a race hustler and LeBron James becomes a race hustler and Oprah becomes a race hustler. Like, I feel these are very powerful cultural people. Michelle Obama, they could start saying something on this subject, and they never do. It's just more discussion about a racist society. And by the way, if I listened to them and I was young and black, I wouldn't even try, according to what they're saying. But are you as disappointed as I am in these people, because they're in this position and could really make a profound difference, I feel?
I mean, I am, but at this point, I don't really expect them to do much of anything. I think at the end of the day, yes, there are certain figures who are in the public eye who can help to shift the conversation or to at least bring things up like what we're trying to do here. We're trying to talk about these things so we can actually get people towards an actual solution. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to people are afraid of being accountable. See, if you say that the issue is within your home, that means that you're the one responsible for it, not some Republican, not some Democrat, you are. And you have to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what did you do to ruin your family? Did you make poor decisions? Why are your kids dysfunctional? And then what happens is, we don't want to look at ourselves. We blame our kids. We put our kids into some sort of home because they're too rambunctious. We give them drugs because they're just too much for us. I can't handle them. There's something wrong with them, and I can't figure out why. And the root of it is you. You're the one who raised them. You're the one who, or maybe not raising them. You're the one who is responsible for the behavior, and children are reacting to their environment. So if they're coming from dysfunction, you cannot be surprised when they're acting dysfunctional. And I think that's the root of this. Parental selfishness, the unwillingness to be accountable for their behavior. They don't want to look at themselves because they don't like what they see in the mirror.
Yeah, and also, as a society, we're enabling this behavior financially and morally, where we've decided there's no more judgment going on. There used to be a lot of judging going on, and judging kind of keeps people in the right lane. People used to go to airports and put a blazer on with a tie, and now they're showing up in their pajamas because we stopped judging. We just went, you can't judge. And you got your baby mamas and everything else, and there's no more judgment. And listen, judgment works, and I'll tell you why. Look at something. You take a subject like smoking. If you go, there's a restaurant, it's a funny thing, but there's a restaurant that I used to go to quite often. It was like a diner, and they had all these old-timey black and white pictures of all the old celebrities from the 40s and the 50s, and every single one of them, they had a lit cigarette for their headshot. Now, it's not like 85% of actors smoked in the 40s. Somebody handed them a cigarette and said, hey, if you're going to take a picture, women, it'll be like a 23-year-old starlet. She'd have a cigarette by her head, So it used to be glamorous. And then we decided it was bad for you. And then we had a campaign. We waged a war against smoking. And now, if a celebrity lights a cigarette, they don't do it inside the club. They walk outside the club and they hide behind the dumpster. They literally crouch down behind a dumpster and smoke, hoping nobody sees their shameful behavior. So what happened to smoking? Well, it was glorified, and then we made it shameful, and smoking is down 61%. Okay, we could do that with any subject. We could do it with having kids out of wedlock, being single moms, taking welfare and things of that nature. We could wage a war, do the same thing we did with smoking with this, but we won't judge.
And I think we should go back to judging. I have a chapter in the book called Socially Comfortable Terrible Parents. And it's the idea that someone can abandon their kids, someone can abuse their children, can scream at their kids. They can do all of these things, and you know about it, yet they get to come to your house and everybody's comfortable. So I do think that there is a lack of shame, just like what you were saying. We have to be able to shame these things. We have to be able to call these things out. But I think some people refuse to shame because they don't want to be shamed either. It's just everyone's kind of scared to touch what is so obvious.
Well, there's a component to it, which is we don't, let's look. Being fat is worse for you than smoking, but we don't shame people for being fat, but they're unhealthy for being fat, and they're going to die. They're going to have a shitty life, and they're going to die earlier than if someone was smoking who wasn't fat. But we won't shame them for it. And the reason, look, we have almost nobody smokes now because we shame them enough, but everyone is fat because we didn't shame them. But there's a component here. Anytime there's a racial component to it or a financial component, it's more black folk have these broken families than white folk, and more poor folk have it than rich folk. And so legislators and anybody in politics and anyone who speaks with a platform just goes, stay away. Not going to get into it. Not worth being destroyed by it. I'm not going to do this. Hey, poor people, get your shit together. You want to be rich? Get going. I do it all the time because Bernie Sanders is like, we're the richest nation in the world. Why can't we give more money? It's like giving them money is not the answer. Getting them healthy, get together, intact family, get educated, do not have children out of wedlock. That's how you. All Bernie Sanders talks about is helping poor people, but he won't tell them what will lift them from poverty. His plan is take more money from Elon Musk and sprinkle it around Bedford-Stuy.
Yeah, that's the typical politician kind of thing, especially with Bernie. They think that everything comes from the very top. In order for someone to be successful, you got to give them money, which obviously the most successful people weren't handed a bunch of money. And even if you are wealthy, plenty of people have money and they go bankrupt. So it's not a guarantee. People like to say Donald Trump was given money from his father, and that's why he's wealthy. Donald Trump has gone through bankruptcy. He's learned a lot throughout his career. There is no guarantee when it comes to business and success, no matter what your background is and how much money you start with. Lots of people get lottery money and they blow it all away. But what we're talking about is starting from the bottom and trying to move up. It starts at home, and that's the original government, right? What you have in your home is the basis of how you move forward when it comes to your family, the level of prosperity you're likely to get. We're about, just how you use the smoking analogy, the way I use it is, if you have a nuclear family, if you have both parents in the home, you increase the chances of prosperity for your kids. Just full stop right there. In the same way that obviously by smoking, you're not guaranteed to get cancer, but by smoking, you increase the likeliness that you will get cancer, right? So we want to decrease the likeliness that we'll have dysfunctional children who will suffer for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I think what it's going to take is more people speaking up, because when you do speak up about these subjects, you get attacked, and people don't want to get attacked. I get into people with people all the time, where they, I go, hey, you got to work hard, you got to keep family. Where they go, oh, we're taking advice from the rich white guy about pulling yourselves out of poverty, and it's like, yeah, well, I used to be in poverty and now I'm rich. So, yeah, you should listen to me. But I don't go, oh, I'm sorry you misunderstood me. I just fire right back at him, tell him to shut the fuck up, because I was poor my whole life and no one had any money and I didn't go to college. So I figured it out. You can figure it out as well. But most people, I realize, are really cowardly. They understand. They would never, I'll put it to you this way. If you talk to most liberal white people and they just said, hey, what if your son or daughter just said they're going to go their whole life and never get an ID, never get a valid ID? They'd go, what are you talking about? That's nuts. I'll drive them down to the DMV myself. We'll get an ID. What do you mean? You can't live in society without an ID. You can't travel, can't check into a hotel, you can't buy liquor, you can't do anything. So no, I will unaccept this, unacceptable. And then they go, many people in the black community don't have access. And they go, I know, it's a shame. It's the soft bigotry of low expectations. And it's sad. And these people need to kind of speak up and stick their neck out a little bit because they understand what's going on. They would never let their family conduct themselves that way, but yet they just zip it when it comes to any other groups in society because they don't want to be attacked, and they will be attacked if they do.
Yeah, and also, humans are more likely to conform. And it doesn't take that many people to change society. Just like you said, we don't need 50% of people to stand up and say the things that we're saying. We just need a certain amount to do so, and they can shift culture. I use the example of George Floyd's death. One man's story, one man's situation and death led to a massive cultural shift in just a blink of an eye. And the things that we called normal were no longer normal, and we were called bigots because of it. Everything changed, and that was just one person. So we just need a certain amount of people to actually stand up, maybe use their story like what I'm trying to do. We just need more people to actually be brave. It doesn't have to be 50% of the population. It just has to be maybe certain people and maybe just enough people who are personal to you, who are willing to have these conversations. The problem that I'm seeing is that children who are like me, who grow up, become adults, have this need to protect their parents because they feel like if they criticize how they were raised, the poor choices that were made by their parents, we inherently want to love our parents. We don't want to hurt our family. So we stay silent. And so no one criticizes the bad behavior and nothing changes. And I'm just seeing that pattern happening over and over. The child who grows up to be an adult suffers. They don't get the resolution. They don't confront their parents. They don't get the questions that they had answered. They just pretend that everything was fine and that their mother was just the strong person, and which she may be. But what about you? What about you as the child who was the victim of bad choices?
Well, I do notice when I talk to people whose parents beat them, with a switch or belt or wooden spoon or anything, they always go, I deserved it. I deserved it, And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think you should beat your kid with a wooden spoon, when they're 6, They go, yeah, but I did put that finger paint all over the TV set. I go, okay, but you don't deserve to be beaten. You understand? And they're like, I deserved it. I should have done it. And it's like, I've heard so many people internalize being beaten by your parents. And I'm like, I have kids. They've gotten out of line. I would talk to them or punish them, but I would never put my hands on them. No, you don't hit people. And by the way, it's a weird message you're sending in terms of conflict resolution. Like if I could just hit that person, then I could somehow come out on top of this interaction. Well, then later on you get in life and shit goes down on a school bus and you just start smacking somebody in the head. It's not a good lesson, which is I'm going to beat you because you did something that bothered me. How about a discussion about it, or you take away their allowance or whatever, work out some other component. So yeah, I've talked to many people who go, my parents used to beat the crap out of us and we deserved it, to make your point.
Yeah. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the things I talk about in the book. It's like Stockholm syndrome. They blame themselves, even though they were innocent children. The person who is 3 times their size, and you have nowhere else to go, is grabbing a weapon or like very sadistically tells you to go grab the weapon that they're going to beat you with. And then you hear them laugh about it and claim that they deserved it. And without it, they wouldn't be the person that they are today. And I'm thankful that I was beaten for all those years when I messed up. Kids have undeveloped brains. Like their brains are still developing. They're going to mess up. They're going to screw up. They can't see around the corner. Quite literally, they can't see around the corner because their brains haven't fully developed. They're not adults. And so when someone tells you, well, you misbehaved as a kid or you did this wrong, well, they're going to. Like it's obvious. And I'm not just talking from, you shouldn't hit kids, and I'm not a father, and just like, you've raised kids. I'm speaking from someone who was beaten when I was a kid, when I got out of line. And when I had my son, I started popping him when he was small, and I didn't like it. And I looked at myself and I said, I don't like this. And I remember when I was a kid, I just wanted someone to talk to me because I already felt bad enough because I knew I did something wrong. Clearly, you're angry, but I don't need to be hit on top of that. And so from a very young age, my son, I just stopped. I didn't tell my son I'm no longer going to hit him. I just stopped doing it. And every time he messed up, I would talk to him more. We would just communicate. I didn't coddle him. I didn't pretend he didn't do anything wrong. And I did not punish him. And a lot of people think, well, if you don't hit your kid, you're not disciplining him. But the root word of discipline is disciple. Like there's supposed to be some sort of teaching moment. And what are you teaching them when you hit them? You're teaching them to fear you, to be scared of you. And I know adults who still fear their parents irrationally when their parents raise their voice because they know what comes after that. And no one should feel that way about their parents.
Yeah, I mean, every black male comedian has 20 minutes on their mom beating the shit out of them. It's a universal joke with African-American male comedians and female comedians. It's just, and they're laughing, and the audience is laughing. And yeah, go pick out a switch, bring it home, bust it over my ass. You know, the more they were brutalized, the harder people laugh. And I'm like, I don't think this is a good idea. And I don't really think it's that funny. And I think you're teaching a lot of people that violence is sort of the answer. And I don't think that's a good teachable moment either. And then also, if you're constantly beating on your young boy and then you push that boy into a school system and he's 14 and now he's beating the crap out of somebody else, isn't that kind of on you? Like, why is he so violent now? Well, that's what he knows, you know?
Right. And at some point, especially if you're talking about a single mother raising a boy, at some point that boy becomes bigger than the mother. That hit that she was giving doesn't hurt that much, right? Or at all. He laughs at it. Like, it doesn't work. If we're talking about correcting behavior, hitting works very short term. But if you have to do it constantly, clearly it's not working, right? So if you have to constantly put a Band-Aid on something, it's because you haven't fixed the actual wound. Mm-hmm. And what I'm seeing is that these kids, if they're messing up for a reason that a hit across the ass isn't going to fix. They're messing up because something else is going on, and it takes work to do it. But it's very easy to grab a belt and hit a kid, let them cry it out, and go to bed, and you can just move on with the rest of your night. And that's what we're seeing. And unfortunately, with single-parent home situations, and I get it, I'm slightly empathetic to it. There's a lot of pressure, especially if you have multiple children. You're working a lot. You have to come home. You have to deal with it. You're all by yourself dealing with all this stuff. But the problem is hitting turns into a way to unleash your frustration. You come home, and you just want them to be perfect, and kids aren't perfect. So you take it out on them, and then you hurt them. And then you have them grow up to rationalize all of your bad behavior because they inherently want to love their mother, and they don't want to criticize their mother.
Yeah, it's, I think they call it a vicious cycle, and then they beat on their kids or they beat up on somebody in their school, and then they get into the system, and the next thing you know, that's what they know. And then another baby is born, and they just do it all over again. And for me, I really wish the celebrities and the politicians and the tastemakers from across the board, like white, black, whomever, could just talk about some of this stuff just a little bit. But it's the third rail. They're scared. They're scared to death. I mean, when I had Gavin Newsom in here about 10 years ago, and he started talking about these black and brown communities not having money and being preyed upon and not having access to a checking account, I just kept saying to him, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? And he would not answer. He said everything but an answer. Just that. He kept saying that's the way it is, you know? And I was like, as the governor who's complaining about a problem, wouldn't you like to figure out what the root cause of the problem was? And he wouldn't answer because he was scared to death to answer. That he would say, and I told him, I said, family and education. The families are broken up. They're not focused on education. I kept telling him he didn't but he was scared, and rightfully so. Because if he said those black and brown people need to get their shit together and focus on family and focus on education, then he'd be run out of town. So he's not going to say anything. The ladies from The View aren't going to say anything. And LeBron James is not going to say anything. Nobody's going to say anything because it's so taboo. It's like the early stages of COVID or Black Lives Matter. Like, do you really want to start speaking up about either one of these subjects in a truthful way? Because you will lose your job. And nobody wants to do it. And it's sad that they don't have more character, but they don't, and we can't expect them to do it. So it'll be left to guys like Adam B. Coleman. The Children We Left Behind is the name of the book. Where else can we go to find out other works that you may be providing for us, Adam?
Yeah, I write on Substack, adambcoleman.substack.com. I also occasionally write for the New York Post. But if people are interested in the book, they can find it at any of their major retailers, or they can go to wrongspeak.net and order it directly from my publishing house.
Thanks, Adam, for doing the Lord's work.
Thank you. God bless.
Appreciate it. All right. I am going to be doing stand-up Friday and Saturday in San Diego at the American Comedy Club. That's got the word American Comedy and Club all in it. So how could you go wrong? You can go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Adam B. Coleman and Mayhem Miller and Nick Thune saying mahalo.